Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. And today we have a special guest with us, Josué Dickerson. Introduce yourself. I've never said anyone's whole name, but introduce yourself.
Hi, well, I'm Joshua T. Dickerson. I'm a father of four, um, but I'm also known as an author and a poet and an educator. Just honored to be here.
Nice, nice, nice. Oh, you have to get more than that because you do more. Father, I'm glad you said that first. So that's the importance, like that's the important role
That's
that you
right.
play. But what else? Tell us more about, you.
Okay, well, I no longer teach in the traditional school sense, but I'm a former school teacher. Taught
Okay.
elementary school for a number of years. Um, Now I do staff training and development. And what I'm most known for is as a poet, and most known for a poem in particular called "Cause I Ain't Got a Pencil."
Yes,
And so
yes.
I go around and serve as an advocate for children and as an advocate for educators and anyone who works in the youth development field.
Yes, that poem. That poem.
That point, right?
That poem. Yes. So that was what brought you to my attention. I didn't know who, I don't know that it came across my timeline on Instagram and I was like, wait a minute. Like I had showed my coworkers that because I used to be a teacher myself
Okay.
and very passionate about my young folks. Like I go hard for them all the time. And I just didn't like the energy that I was receiving from some of my coworkers in regards to my babies. And so I pulled that out and I was like, yo, read this.
That's
And
right.
they were still like, yeah, I understand, but like it's still like, a little animosity
Yeah.
there,
Yeah, I
but it
understand.
still brings a recognition to understanding that, oh, these kids going through way more than they let on, or even that we
Exactly.
are even any kind of notion to. But what was the inspiration behind that? Like, how did you get that out?
Okay. It is a story that I created, but the inspiration behind it was I was at after school program, monitoring after school program, and the child asked the adult leader, can they borrow a pencil to do their homework? Because they didn't have a pencil to do their homework. And so the adult leader said, yeah, you can borrow a pencil, but you have to give me some collateral to make sure that I get the pencil back. So give me one of your shoes. Okay. So you got to
I've seen
visualize
that.
that. Yeah, you've seen that before, right, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the young man takes off his shoes. Well, one shoe, and he has on a dirty sock with a hole in
Oh,
it. And so people started laughing at him. I said, here's a situation where a kid really wants to do their homework.
to do what's being asked. Yes.
And so, but they didn't have a pencil. And so I said, okay, it may be something deeper than that. So I visualized the concept of what that child may have gone through throughout the day
Mm,
at home. And there may be a specific reason behind that child not having a pencil.
yes.
And so that was the inspiration behind it. And I hope everybody can relate to it because sometimes when I go to staff meeting and staff training and say, all right, we need a pen, you see people patting that, they're looking for a pen. They say, hey, can I borrow a pen? And nobody thinks anything about that. They say, okay, they just got a pen. But when a child, especially a child from maybe a lower economic status, doesn't have school supplies, for some strange dynamic, people start thinking that that child has no care regards for their education.
Speak on it.
But they may simply not have had a supplies that day. And I tell people all the time, one of my primary things that people always say, and I hope I'm answering the question in depth, Jay,
Of
is
course.
that no matter what part of the United States I'm in when I present, there's always at least one person, sometimes two, hey, sometimes 10, 15, 20, that say, okay, this child is asking for a pencil, but they have on Jordans or they have
Mm,
iPhones. And I'm always saying that child did not purchase those Jordans or the iPhones. Just because somebody else decided to purchase those things, they did not purchase their school supplies. Why are we fussing at that child? Why are we belittling that child for the decisions that adults have made? So
Or even making the assumption that they never had a pencil to begin with. You know
exactly,
how easy it is to lose pencils, pens,
I do
everything
it all the
else?
time.
All
That's
the
right.
time. Like stationary items are like they're not stationary for real because like, they
Yeah,
get
I know,
lost
right?
quick. But
They
it's just
move.
I see that all the time. The comments, oh, but they got Jordans on. Oh, they got this on. They got this, but they don't have a pencil. It's like, well, who's to say they didn't start with one? Like the school year is long, huh? And parents buy those school supplies, and then they go on about they 2, 3 jobs and go on
Yeah,
to do what they need to
that's right.
do. They caught up in their life. They not, necessarily checking every day. Like, hey, you got a pencil in that book bag? Hey, you got a pencil? Hey, like,
Yeah. There've been times my children haven't had a pencil at school.
indeed, and
And I
I'm
wrote
sure.
to them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, no, I that poem really hit. It hit a lot because I be wanting people to see the child as like children, people as a whole individual being in general, and understanding that we don't know anybody's story. I used to tell my students all the time, you don't know my life. Like, you don't know my life, but we don't
right.
know each other's lives unless we take this time to learn about each other, right?
There you
And
go.
so the assumptions that we make on each other, especially these young people, that really a lot of things are out of their control, as you stated already. Who are we?
Exactly.
Who are we? And what is our purpose of being there? So you spoke on being a teacher. How was you were a teacher in Atlanta?
That's right. I
And
was.
I saw look, I saw in your bio, teacher of the year too. Like,
And
hey,
that's
big things.
that's a
Big
blessing. That's definitely a blessing. To be voted on by your colleagues as teacher of the year. And
of course.
so that thing is just like a reflection of when you enjoy what you do.
Yes,
And
yes. What grade were you doing?
I thank the children for educating me. You know, you're in there teaching, but the children are educating you. So I
Always.
appreciate that opportunity. So any child that I've ever interacted with, I've learned something from.
Of course. What grade were you teaching?
I taught third, fourth, and fifth.
Oh, so you one of those little fallen angels. I talk about elementary school teachers. Y'all just angels. Y'all swear to I promise that y'all are angels that just said, well, send me, boss. I got y'all.
I got
I'm
you.
gonna go
Come
up in
on.
there. Yes, because element, I couldn't. I couldn't.
That's right. That's
I
right.
didn't. I did.
What'd
I
you
did
teach?
middle and high. I did
Middle and
middle
high.
and
Yeah.
high. Yes, yes,
Salute.
yes.
Salute.
Of course, thank you. But that elementary, those are foundational years. I correlate a lot with elementary experiences.
Hmm.
Because I had a lot of students reach me 12th grade level, still reading on a third grade,
That's
fourth
right.
grade level.
That's right.
So I always often wonder, like, what happened? What happened
Yeah.
back there?
Yeah. What happened? What
You
happened?
know,
A lot of different factors.
whole bunch. Yes, but to have a Black male in that position, how did you get there? What made you say, you know what, I'm gonna go teach these kids?
To be absolutely 100% honest, for the first 20 to 21 years of my life, I had no intention of working with children.
Mm,
Okay. And then my junior year of college, I took an African American studies course. Okay. So as part of that completion of the course, you have to go back and volunteer, or you're assigned a place to volunteer. And they assigned me to a youth camp. And that was my first time really working hands-on with children. I was like, I could dig this. I could dig it.
yes.
So I developed a passion of working for children based on that. I had no intention of doing it. My original major was journalism. So I wanted to work for television stations and such. But then when I
Okay.
was voluntold to work with children, I didn't pick a youth camp. That probably been the last place I would have picked. That would have been the last. But I said, man, I could dig this and I can relate. So it was a youth camp called the Umoja Youth Camp, an African Center Youth Camp at the time in West Atlanta. I don't even know if that exists anymore. That was 1999. So that was like 25
Oh,
years ago. So But yep. So that's how I got my feet started. And then I went in and got a master's in education based on my experience doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Had the time of my life.
Nice. How many years did you spend in the classroom?
12.
12.
Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. And I know the impact was major. I already know because you're writing poems, like, because I ain't got no
Hey,
pencil.
I was trying to. I was trying to make an impact, you know what I'm saying? I definitely was striving.
So what led you out of the classroom?
Um, I wanted more freedom to be able to do what I do now. Travel, speak, present. And you can't do those things as a classroom teacher. Your schedule is your schedule. So I can't be
Indeed.
at other schools doing professional development if I'm in my class. So, so that's what led me. But if I would have had the opportunity to still teach and still do what I do, I would have still been teaching. But it just didn't line up for me like that.
Nice, nice. That's beautiful. I love that. That's the passion that,
Yeah.
most teachers that step in there come with.
Yeah,
They
you gotta
really
come with the
do,
passion. Like else it'll eat you up, right?
right?
Yeah.
Because it ain't the pay. So it gotta be the
I'm
passion.
trying to say it's definitely not the pay.
Gotta be the passion.
Gotta be
Yes,
the passion.
yes. So, but you recognize that your reach could be grander outside of the classroom.
Yeah, definitely. And so that's what it's all about.
And
Because that's
now
the thing
you,
about when people read, because I ain't got a pencil, and at the end it says the teacher fussed at me because I ain't got a pencil.
mhm.
People tend to focus on that part. And some educators think it's a slight towards educators, but it's absolutely not. As a former classroom teacher, I 100% respect the hard work that teachers put in. It was just a culminating piece to the poem. Just a reminder to really be mindful of what we say and do to anyone.
Yes. And check in with people. Check
Yeah,
in and start
definitely.
with how are you?
There you go.
How are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling today? You see a lot of videos now on IG and stuff with a lot of teachers doing like little check-ins. They got handshakes and
Handshakes and all that,
like, oh
man.
yeah, that's right. And I love it. I love it because that's what a lot of them need. I come from the homeschool aspect. So when I decided to resign from teaching, I said that I wanted to, I don't know, empower parents. I wanted
Okay,
to put the power back into parents as far as reminding them how important their role is in their children's education.
that's right.
So when I speak on homeschooling, I don't just speak on, removing your children out of traditional school. I speak on the fact that we should be homeschooling no matter where our children are, because it all starts at home.
All starts at home. Yeah,
Yes. How active were parents in your classrooms? Like how active?
man, Jay, varying degrees. Okay,
Okay.
one of the first schools I taught at, um, we had a high refugee population.
Hmm.
Um, one year I taught fifth grade. I had 31 students. I think only six were born in the United States of America. Yeah,
What?
it's
How was that?
like the United Nations, man. What the school was centered in a community in which a lot of people who um, refugees who are escaping war-torn nations, they settled there because there are refugee centers there. So I had children from Turkey, children from different parts of what used to be the Soviet Union, children from Sudan, children from all over. And so they were in the fifth grade based on their age. But
Mm,
different countries have different educational systems. So it may have been some children based on the suffrage they were going through, second year in school. And so they were first generation Americans. So we had limited access to their parents. The parents had limited access to speaking English.
mm,
So the parent participation was kind of low, but I didn't see it as low because of lack of caring. I just see it as
yeah.
low because they were uncomfortable and not really proficient in English. And then I was also taught at a theme school in which parents were mandated to volunteer. So 100% of
Mm,
the parents had to get in volunteer hours. So I've seen it all varying degrees of the spectrum, but I can definitely see in schools that have mandatory parent volunteer participation, you definitely see a tighter bond between the school, the parent, and the community because they are in the school and they see what's going on and they can relate.
Indeed, indeed. And that's important, right? We, as
Very important.
teachers, you understand the importance that a parent, the role of a parent
That's
has.
right.
Like, regardless of how much time they spend in your classroom or in that school building, they're
That's right.
still going home to that
That's right.
parent.
That's right.
And so that relationship has to be built there. Yeah. No, I couldn't imagine having that many students with that many language barriers. Cause I
Man,
remember.
and see, that's another reason why, sometimes they think the quality of school is based on the test scores and stuff like that. I did my best teaching job, in my opinion, when I had the lowest test scores, because you're taking kids and you're really trying to work and develop them. Like you said, you may get a child in high school and they're still on third grade reading level. You may get a child when I taught fifth grade who is just a beginner reader. So if somebody just look at the data and look at a test score, they're like, oh, these teachers must not be doing what they're doing because these kids can't read or blah, blah, blah. That's why another critical point why people need to come into schools, need to understand what is going on, need to see what's going on. Because it's not a one size fit all problem and it's not a one size fit all solution. You don't automatically just look at test scores or grades and make it what you think is a reflection of the effort or the skill of the educator. Because you can be the most skilled teacher, educator, giving your best effort. And sometimes, depending on the uphill battle you're fighting, you still may be on the low side of the mountain. You may be climbing up, but that test score is going to look a certain way.
How important do you feel relationships with the student and teacher play a role in those test scores? Because students perform for who they love, who they rock with. Like they'll come and show up and show out for that.
What do you think the relationship is between the rain, the sun, and the plant? Like, same thing, man. Same thing. The relationship is critical, and that's when people, what they say, what's that saying? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Oh, yes.
People don't care
Yes,
how much you
yes.
know until they know how much you care. And so with students, with anybody, the best way that I've seen to build and grow is to build those relationships with them. That's a critical aspect of education. You don't have to be their buddy, friend, and let them do whatever they want to do. You can still maintain a position of them looking up to you or you being a leader, but you can take some time to get to know them. Okay.
More
Like,
on a personal level.
like for you, where are you from?
Me, I grew up in Virginia,
Which
Virginia
part?
Beach.
Virginia Beach. I was in Virginia Beach a couple of summers ago. Me and my kids went to Virginia Beach. Um, those seashells and stuff on that beach. So because yeah, I visited Virginia two or three times. Went to Fort Lee, been in Virginia, visited is Hampton in Virginia?
Yeah.
Yeah, been to Hampton. Been that's the Pirates. What are the Hampton?
Yeah, Hampton. That's Hampton University. I believe they're
Yeah,
the
been
Pirates.
there. So I like
Yeah.
you. You grew up there?
I did. I grew up in Virginia Beach. And then I taught I subbed in Virginia Beach, but I taught in my own classroom in Norfolk, Virginia.
Norfolk. Okay, yeah.
Very different
I've
from
been in
Virginia
Norfolk.
Beach. Look, they're
Yeah,
hop, jump, and skip, but they're very different. Very
and over
different.
there across the thing. I've been to Norfolk. Yeah. So when you
Yeah.
build relations, you start to find common ground, and then it gives you a springboard. Like if you were a student in my class, I probably bring you pictures or show you pictures the next day when I visited Virginia Beach and standing there on that beach with them seashells and my feet hurting on the thing. I'm like, this thing is rough. But yeah, I've been to Virginia.
Nice. I know my relationship building came when I asked the students to create vision boards. I started every
Okay.
school year with them
Oh,
creating vision boards. Because I told them I had to see where they're trying to go for me to be able to help them get there. So
There
we
you
would
go.
do vision boards, but a lot of them, I promise you, were filled with things, like things they wanted to buy with their money that we didn't know how they were gonna get because they didn't have no occupation up there. So I'm just like, all right,
Yeah,
let's look through these books. Let's find some more stuff, okay? Because we can't just buy a bunch of stuff with no money, y'all. How
no
we
money.
gonna
It takes
how
money,
we gonna
right?
get it? Yes. But that's how I always started. Me and my girls still continue. We make vision boards at least twice a year. Like we still gotta,
Let's see,
you
I
know,
still do that.
oh yes, got to.
Okay.
I've even put it in. I said I was gonna do it with the expos this year. We do travel and homeschool expos. And I said this year I'm gonna have a vision board table so parents can come and sit
Oh,
down
that's
with their
gonna be fun.
littles and be able to create some vision boards because you got to see the vision, got to put it out, right?
That's right. What's one vision on your vision board?
Oh, I got an RV. Like look, right now, I have an RV up there, trying to get an RV. That's a
Okay.
goal. Then I have this little oasis space that I could see in my backyard whenever I do get that backyard. But it's like a little fire pit and two chairs, bunch of
That's
rocks.
gonna be nice.
Yeah, we're home based in Arizona. So the girls were talking even yesterday. They was like, well, when we finally build our house, because I told them we have to get land first. So they
Uh-huh.
understand we're gonna have land. So can we have a farm? Can we have some horses and some pigs? And like they started naming all that. I said, manifest it, baby. Like, let me know what we
Come
what we
on.
gonna have. What we gonna have. Just know that y'all are gonna tend to the animals because I'm not about that life. So I'll help with the fruits and vegetables that we can grow. But
That's right.
animal stuff, y'all got that. So we talk about that stuff all the time. We definitely always are trying to create, not even trying to, but we are always
You are.
making sure that we are creating our reality. We
That's
are
right.
in charge and leading what it is that we want to have in our future and our present. So
That's right.
and we always make sure to stay on the same page. So we do a lot of talking, whole lot of talking.
That's
But you
beautiful.
say you have four of them. What's the ages?
I have 4 children. I have 3 daughters and 1 son. My oldest daughter is 22, and I have a 15-year-old daughter, soon to be 16, and then I have a 5-year-old daughter, but she'll soon be 6.
Okay.
And my son is 19, so it's 22, 19, soon to be 16, and soon to be 6.
Okay, nice. That's that 6 and that 16. That's a gap there.
That's a gap, 10-year gap. Yep.
Yes, yes. I want more, so I'm gonna be looking. My gap's gonna be crazy too. So
Okay, how old are your children?
7 and 10. I have two
Okay,
girls,
okay.
7 and 10. And I want to balance it out with twin boys. I talk about my twin boys all the time because people be like, yeah, you
Manifesting
real
instruments.
specific with that. What am I? Am I? Yes. How
Okay.
was your school experience? Like, how was it when you were in school yourself? Because I talk to a lot of young Black men in regards to them being, or you can even speak on your son's experience also. And I know I hear oftentimes like they were pushed to like be on medication or, labeled with some kind of disability.
I would say my school experience definitely a mixed bag. You know, early on, kindergarten, first, second, third, you know. Um, I didn't realize until later on. Now this is the adult Josh speaking
Mm.
about the things that I didn't know when I was young, you know. I didn't realize, I wrote a poem because I used to. It's called I Used to. It's like I used to be so proud to know about the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria,
Mm.
how the Pilgrims helped the Indians, and how Lincoln freed us. It's funny how America prided itself on being this cool, harmonious melting pot, yet natives of this land were sent to reservations to rot.
Mm.
How come no one in these history books looked like me? I never grasped the fact that I was the strange fruit hanging from a southern tree.
Mm.
What about the women Why weren't they in these books? I guess they weren't valued for their brain, only their looks. As some say, let's make America great again. My question is, how great was it to really begin? I used to get so mad when I heard about cruel dictators from around the world. I thought they were so mean. I never understood that the people that I was taught were my founding fathers, their hands weren't clean,
Mm.
you know? So, yes, they passed laws to keep people in poverty and upheld laws that allow people to be property. I used to be so proud to know about the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, how the Pilgrims helped the Indians, and how Lincoln freed us.
Mm.
Yes, there are some people, when they hear the national anthem, they don't understand. But I can understand. If you can't grasp this, see if this hits you. Was a Jew stand for a national anthem that was written by Hitler. So that's just some stuff that I thought about, and it was like my childhood experience. I began to grasp things later on that I was never really taught about myself. And it's not always, it's the, I got education at home, so that's a bonus. But the images of black men, the first image really that you're introduced to that I could recall, historical figures. They said Crispus Attucks was the first person shot in the Revolutionary War. And they make you want you to be proud of that, but then you realize the war for independence, it wasn't even for me. Like I've been enslaved, so you build up this sense of pride. Oh, Crispus Attucks, a black man, the first person to die in the American Revolutionary War. It's crazy, right? And then I remember images of slavery, and then you kind of jump to Martin Luther King, and it's kind of all I remember. But my life started taking a change when I was in fifth grade because I had a speech impediment. I was in speech classes, as well I should have been because I had a speech impediment. Yeah, it wasn't nobody put me in there. I deserved to be in there. I earned that.
I
Wasn't no
needed that.
sob story on that one. So okay. So my words still get slurred sometimes, but right now I just kind of slurred because I had a dental procedure. But that's another story.
No worries. No worries.
Trying to talk with a new tooth. I just playing. So here we go. So in fifth grade, our fifth grade teacher named Miss James, which happened to be, I was assigned to her class by God's great fortune because they were two fifth grade classes. And I think they were like 40 students in each class. So they took 10 students out of each, 10 to 12 students out of each class and made a third class.
Nice.
I was one
Thank
of the
you.
students that got put into the third class, and her name was Miss James. And Miss James told me, she's like, I see something in you. So Miss James would make me do a poem, write a poem, and recite a poem, or do somebody else's writings of poetry in front of the class every Friday. So I had to speak and write every single Friday.
Oh,
So now we
wow.
have the greatness of education shining through, in which educators see the ability or potential of someone. And that experience, by God's grace, me being selected out of a hat to go to Miss James' class, changed the trajectory of my life because that's who really started me writing poetry. Okay, so
Beautiful.
that's my like elementary school experience. Middle school was kind of a blur. It was all good, you know what I'm saying? When anything that I did on that, I earned it, I was no qualms about that. High school, we moved. I was in all black East Point, Georgia, right in the midst of Atlanta. Then we moved down to the suburbs of Atlanta, about 40 miles outside of Atlanta to Griffin, Georgia. Then I felt a little bit there because one of the things I was on the academic team, academic bowl team, and I don't feel like as a black man I got a fair shot. You know what I'm saying? At the academic bowl team, I think that they kind of had stuff already laid out, and that's how that had worked. So, you know, my academic career, you know, later on I found out some awakening, you know what I'm saying? You know, yep. And then I experienced some definite discrimination based on I think they didn't think black boys were intelligent or their parents had money or something. They just gave them a spot. But the crazy part about it, we like acting bold practice and I was whooping it behind. But like when it came time, they already had their people selected, so that was kind of weird. But so yeah, it's been. But what motivated me and inspired me is to be a great educator. Because I always want to be an advocate for the children who may have been struggling, for the child who can't talk well, for the child who can't read well, for the child who may be struggling in math, you know, stuff like that, man. You know, who maybe not be the most popular kid in school, who may not have a voice or afraid to speak their voice and trying to give them, you know, that's what I always like to do, Jay. So my educational experience as a child shaped me as an educator, you know.
Indeed.
That's one reason I couldn't hardly teach social studies and history because I was like, man, how what a sledgehammer that is across somebody's head to have to call people like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson heroes of democracy when the reality, when you talk about the emotion, the reality of it is that they pass laws and help create laws to keep people who look like you and I enslaved. So I had a tough time digesting that as a teacher. And I love everybody, of course, but we're not dealing with the emotion. We're talking about the reality of having to form your lips to say this person is a hero of democracy. And democracy just can't mean democracy for a select group of people. The definition of democracy is all one and one. I mean, it has to include everybody,
Yes.
right?
For all,
So yeah.
yes.
So that influenced my teaching style as well. First, I'm gonna teach what they ask me to teach because I got to teach because I signed up to that contract. But I'm also going to sprinkle a little additional knowledge in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, how did you fix that? Because I did ask that question to a history teacher at my school. I had a Black history teacher there, and I was just like, "How are you teaching that stuff?" And he just
Yeah.
told me that
And I always try to tell them,
fillers.
yeah, this is like the reality of also what was going on. You know, history has multiple sides flowing at once. If you're living in the 1800s in America, there's a lot of different things that can be going on in your life. You could be a wealthy male who can vote. You can be a wealthy white lady who cannot vote. You can be a black person and you're enslaved because of the color of your skin. You can't do anything, can't own, can't vote. You don't own, operate anything. And there are people who live their entire life never saw a day of freedom. And so you try to relate to them and say, okay, these things are all not separate, but these are things that are all going on in the same time. So that is true that they were signing direct Declaration of Independence. That is true that the War for Independence was fought, but they were also natives of this land who were, you know, doing their thing and being forced to do certain things at their time. And also here's another group. So not taking away from what is taught, but adding to it a bigger, broader picture.
I love that. I love that you mentioned your fifth grade teacher that said, "Hey, this is what you about to do." Because I have a similar experience.
Okay, tell me about it.
Yes. So my fifth grade teacher is actually the reason why I wanted to teach. I wrote a chapter book when I was in the fifth grade.
Okay.
And she would let me share a chapter every week. Same thing. She
Your
would let
fifth
me
grade teacher
share
name
and
Miss
read a
James.
chapter.
Her name wasn't Miss James, was it?
No, it's Miss Crawford.
I
It was
was
Miss
about to say,
Crawford.
let us find out we had the same teacher.
Right.
That sounds familiar.
But I thought that was so amazing of her to take time out of her class schedule, like, all the things that we could be doing right now, but to make that time for me
right.
and to let me know that she saw me. Like, she not only saw me, but she respected what I was doing. And that was so impactful for me.
Major.
It's so impactful. And I wanted to make other kids feel that way. I wanted to see and hear other kids in the manner that she saw and heard me in the 5th grade and respected my passion enough. Because I'm writing chapter books. And like, my mama wasn't even up in me like that. Like, she was like, get out of here. Like, it's a little book. Like, a little story. Go on. Like, whatever. But this lady was just like, hey, no. Oh, yeah, read that to your classmates. Share that. And she took time every week to allow me to do that. And I was the game changer.
Got you. That's major right there. Shout out Miss Crawford.
I know, right? I
You
love
keep up
her.
with her? You know how Miss
I
Crawford
do
is?
not. I did end up, when I was substituting, I did end up subbing for her class, and I cried and told her all, like, why I was on the path that I was on as far as, heading into the classroom at that time, and let her know that she definitely was a big, big, major part of that. So teachers
a
are
whole hero
wonderful.
out here.
Right?
Crawford is a hero out here.
Really, 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 really. So with your workshops, what are you teaching these teachers? What are you trying to instill in them?
Kind of like this conversation. It starts with relationship, understanding, building relationships with children from all backgrounds and circumstances. All children not gonna walk in that door and say, "Hello, Mr. Dickerson. I'm so glad to be here at school today. What would you like for me to do?" That's not gonna happen.
Sound good.
Sound good, right? Sound like a course in perfect land or something like that. And they all come in but learning to embrace children where they are and elevate them to a higher level. Like using things like you said, building relationships, being in close proximity with kids. Are you establishing rituals and routines that can help get kids in the flow of what you got? Are you prepared? So things of that nature. Customer service. That the root of that. Understanding that in a sense, children are our customers. And we should aim to provide them the best service that we can. The same thing that you want when you go to your restaurant. You like to know what's going on. You like for them to do what they say they're going to do. You like to be checked on. So things along those lines, along those nature, to enhance what you're doing, to enhance the experience for you and your children. Because when things are going good, it's a better experience for you and the children. Because if not, you tired and wore out, and they tired and worn out too.
Exactly.
I've been there, so I know.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah. So what's your nonprofit? You have a nonprofit also.
Okay. Yeah, the nonprofit. I'm a part of 2 different nonprofits. One is called Pieces of the Puzzle, and it offers mentoring opportunities for young men. And then I'm also part of a nonprofit called the Village Kids in Griffin, Georgia. And the ultimate goal is we're going to open a youth center. But for right now, we're doing hands-on mentoring, college tours, getting kids signed up for what do you call it? Like technical trades, technical colleges and trades for those students who did not want to go to the traditional college route. So those are the 2 of the things that I'm, 2 of the nonprofits that I do.
Nice. That's very important. Our young men need mentors. They need guidance. They need
grown men too, myself too. We all.
Oh yeah, I say young men. I say, well, yeah, grown men, young men, all men.
Of us.
I had this conversation last night. I talk about like why a lot of the social media influencers are so big and prevalent as they are, because of a lot of men really missing that male figure in their life, that male influence in their life growing up. So they're still reaching and seeking out questions, answers for questions that they've been carrying along with them for a while. And so now with the heightened level of social media, it's like, we see a lot of Black men grasping a hold of influencers and pushing their words, no matter how toxic some of them may be.
Yeah.
It's still, answers to some of their questions that they've been carrying.
That's right.
Because of that lack of male representation in their life.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So, well, sir, I ain't gonna hold you because I know you busy.
You sound like an old Southern. I ain't want nothing. I just
wanted
invited
you to
you
grace
to
my
podcast.
platform. Yes.
You know?
I just wanted to, like I said, that poem was very monumental and just
I'll do the
sharing with
poem
my
because there may be
coworkers.
somebody who
Oh,
hasn't
please.
seen the poem, but this poem is entitled I Ain't Got a Pimp. And it's written by me, Josué T. Dickerson. I woke myself up because we ain't got an alarm clock. Dug in the dirty clothes pile because ain't nobody washed my school uniform. Brushed my hair and teeth in the dark because the lights weren't on. I even got my baby sister ready because mama wasn't home. Got us both to school on time so that we could eat a good breakfast. And when I got to class, the teacher fussed at me because I ain't got a
So many layers. So many layers. So let me do my snaps. Yes.
Okay.
Where can we find you?
You can find me on social media. All my social media is Josué T. Dickerson. A published author. Got I think I have 5 children's short stories, 5 poetry books. You can go to Amazon or Walmart.com. Josué T. Dickerson.
You're gonna wait until the end and throw those out there, like, oh yeah, I got these books.
Oh, yeah. I didn't tell them. Yeah, I have another book release coming up this Saturday. My oldest daughter and I wrote a poetry book together.
Oh, that is so
Destiny
beautiful.
and Daddy. That drops this Saturday. And then I have another book here sitting here. This is also a double release on Saturday. This is my other book that's coming out called Ready to Live. It's my latest poetry collection.
Okay, yes, you sent me that picture.
Yeah, that's a picture I sent you. Yeah, that's a picture
Yes.
of a book that's coming out this Saturday. February 20th,
Nice.
well, Saturday, February 24th, because when somebody watches it, it can be whenever. So Saturday.
I know. Yeah, it won't be. Yeah.
Yeah. But those books are available on Amazon. So.
Yes, please check them out. Please check them out. And before I let you go, I need you to give these parents, our listeners, 3 things, to move forward with leading their children's education. Just whatever those 3 things that may
3 things.
be.
Love yourself. Recognize the greatness within you. As a parent, it can become overwhelming, sometimes frustrating. Sometimes you feel down and you feel inadequate. You are more than enough to be what your child needs you to be. And if you're lacking in that area, you have the ability to find the resources to help you in that area. But just don't give up on yourself. Number 2, don't give up on your child. There's no accidents, no mistakes. That child is here for a special purpose, special reason. And remember that everybody has different strengths. Your child may not be born the best at something, but they can work on getting better, but be patient with them and help them achieve it. And the third thing, smile. Life is too short for us to be stuck in a matrix of stress, hurt, and pain. Live in peace and let everything else fall into place. With your children, with you, and with your home.
Nice.
That's what I got.
That's
my 3 things, man.
I appreciate it. I invited Mr. Dickerson here because I feel like, homeschool parents, especially, I see a lot of times that a lot of homeschool families like to separate themselves from their community as far as like, oh, the public school kids are out. Oh, we don't want to go here. We don't want to do this. And we don't like, that's still your community. Remember that. Remember that we are neighbors. We are together and everything is better together. So help each other, talk to each other. Never, ever, ever stop supporting our youth, because our youth they're our future. They are now. So you
That's
see
right.
someone in need, you see someone that think they may need a hug. I be feeling like everybody need a hug. I feel like hugs just need
We
to
all do
be,
at some
yes,
point.
like, yo, why are you so angry? Come here, bring it in, bring it in. You need a hug, baby. You need a hug. But yes, just don't disconnect from our community, because our community is still our community, and we all are needed to be who we are meant to be, and make those moves and be the change that we wish to see in
That's
this lovely,
right.
lovely world. So, in the meantime, in between time, make sure you homeschool your kids.
All right. I appreciate the opportunity.
Of course.